Good morning or good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for joining our Coffee with Manitou session on this month. Hope you're having a great September. Today's topic is better reporting with dashboard analytics. My name is Bryant Hardy, here with Bow Technologies. Also have Caryn Morgan with Bow today on the line, as well as Rod Coles as well. So pretty excited to show you what we've been working on, give you a sneak peek here of better reporting with dashboard analytics. So again, we'll go ahead and get started here and move from there. All right. We have an upcoming training opportunity for you. It's the 2018 Manitou Neo Bootcamp. It's going to be held on January 17th and 18th here at the Bow Training Center in Colorado Springs. So it's still beautiful and nice here in Colorado Springs in January. So we'd love for you to come out and be a part of that. But that Manitou Neo Bootcamp is really designed to help plan and prepare you to transition from the Manitou CS product to the Manitou Neo. So really want you to come and be a part of that, or really dig down deep into that. The detailed syllabus, if you will, is on our website. Registration is now open. We do have one that we're having in October that filled up really quickly. I'm pretty sure this one will as well. So I would definitely register for that if you have any interest at all of being a part of that, because it's going to fill up really, really fast. And our next opportunities might actually be online, and this one is actually in person. So definitely go ahead and register for that as soon as possible. Okay, today's topic, again, is dashboard analytics, better reporting with dashboard analytics. We're going to talk about the powerful reporting features that are in the software. We're going to look at how with the dashboard analytics, where you can look in history with the historical alarm counts. As an example, alarm handling times or average handling time. You now are going to have the ability to have that critical data. Some of you are probably doing cyber cheering for that. You've been waiting on that for a long time. I think we're the only alarm automation platform that's providing this type of software, so we're really excited to show you that today. There's also custom reporting on customers and dealers, and even reporting on transmitters now and through the dashboard analytics software. So dashboard analytics, essentially is providing you data that you're going to need to make informed decisions. You know, how many alarms are my operators handling? What operators are, how are they performing? Are they in the top 5 or the top 15 or the middle 85 or whatever? You're going to have that detailed information that you've been waiting for you can make informed decisions. How many auto client alarms is the auto client, or the virtual operator, I should say, is handling versus how many alarms are my operators handling. That data is now available for you to access through dashboard analytics as an add-on module. Okay, so now we're just going to jump right into the dashboard analytics piece of it. This is the live demo piece of it, and I'll just kind of jump right into that, and hopefully you can still see my screen. Yep, it shows that you're seeing my screen here. So when you log into Manitou Neo, and hopefully you're on the upgrade schedule to upgrade to Manitou Neo, so you can continue to be UL compliant with your software. And here is just the standard dashboard view that you get when you log into Manitou Neo, just the standard view here. I have some different dashboards here along the top. Some of the things that I just would like to mention, more of training related things I should say, is that with these dashboards, there's going to be different views that you're going to have as a central station or as a monitoring center, different views you're going to have. And we've made it very, very easy for you to export those dashboards and send them to a colleague so they can import those same layouts that you have, so they don't actually have to recreate and reinvent the wheel and do that work over again. We've made it really simple for you to be able to export those layouts and use those in your monitoring center. So you can even do that from monitoring center to monitoring center, and this is an awesome feature that we have. What we're going to focus on today, I just want to kind of backtrack here just for a second as we talk about the different features that you now have with dashboard analytics. You do know that there's some UL changes. There's some UL 1981 revision 3 changes and some UL 827 8th edition changes that are actually coming down the pipe here, and more particularly July 31st of 2018 to be compliant. And so a lot of these changes, even in the dashboard standard and the dashboard analytics, are to meet some of those changes for you. So your software that you're using to monitor life and safety and property can be up to code, if you will, with UL standards. One of those things I wanted to show you right away is just like the server health information. In the UL 827 8th edition, there's some CPU capacity requirements and things of that nature. And the dashboard, the standard dashboard, gives you the ability to see that visually. So see here, we have the Manitou, I have the 2 different servers here, and it's giving me that information of the percentages that the CPU usage that's being used by my demo 1 machine as well as my demo 2 machine. Not a lot of usage there, so that's, that's great. Of course, if it reaches at least 80% per UL standards, you have to have the ability to send in an alert. Manitou Neo will have that ability to send in a watchdog message. If this was to exceed 80% or greater, it would actually send in that watchdog alert. And of course, with watchdog messages, you can actually convert any watchdog message to a traditional alarm, and you can have an action pattern attached to it or an enhanced action pattern attached to it, so it can go to who it needs to go to, alerting you that has just occurred and happened in the system. So just some server health information here. This is just a view that we have. With the server health information, it's basically using the broker and a new service that we call the collector. It's part of your system configuration that you have in the supervisor workstation. Whatever servers that you have as part of your configuration that has at least one application running on it, the server health piece of it will pull that information that you can visually see what we see here today. So if you have, whether it's 3 servers or 4 servers or 5 servers, as long as they have at least one application or service running on them, and it's part of your configuration that's in the supervisor workstation, that information will report here for the CP usage here. Here down at the bottom, it's also given me the receive and send utilization as well for the actual servers. So you have that information visually as well, in addition to just the average CPU usage for the particular server. Over here to the right, I have this particular widget that's part of this dashboard that's actually given me the hard drive space and capacity here of what's being used. You can see here on my demo system here, I have 70 gigabytes. So I'm okay here. I'm in good shape here. And I'm only using 55 gigabytes here, but I can see that visually. I can go into I can go into the gear controls here and make any changes at all to this particular widget that's displaying here, and make those changes and have it display the way that I want to see it best for my particular operations. Okay, so this is just kicking it off. So let's take a step back, because you've probably heard terms in the past where we're talking about dashboard and then dashboard analytics or dashboard standard and all of the different names, if you will. So the naming schema is right here in front of you here. You have the standard dashboard here. This information comes with every Manitou Neo install. So you're licensed for a dashboard standard. When you're upgraded to Manitou Neo, you automatically will get this information that you see here, the dashboard. So you're going to get alarm information. The alarm information that you're going to get is like the alarm queue information, recent alarm customers. Like right now in the Manitou CS and the VB client, if you will, you know how you have on the left-hand side, or the current section, we like to call it, you can see a list of your recent alarm customers. That information is available for you by default. It comes out of the box, if you will, with the Manitou Neo upgrade, as well as alarm counts, as well as alarm progress as well. Some other things that come with the standard. Actually, it's a really, really great deal of going with the dashboard standard as well, because you get a lot of information. You even get the operator response information, and you get the operator status information as well. User status, some of you supervisors or operations managers or whatnot, the user status is that screen or view that's in the supervisor workstation today. You'll actually have the ability in the dashboard now to view it here, and you won't necessarily have to view it in the supervisor workstation client as you do today. That user status information is giving you all of that information related to the operator, how many alarms they've handled based off the priority. Has it been priorities 1 through 5 or 5 or whatever? That information's there. How many new or edits or changes that they've made to accounts. You now will be able to see that real time within the dashboard, standard dashboard right here as well. Also part of the standard dashboard is the customer section. You can actually display customer counts, like what you're told. That's that standard dashboard view that you've seen when I first logged into Manitou Neo. You have the customer counts. You have the customer status, the transmitter summary, and that recent customers list. Just like your recent alarm customers, you still can see your recent customers list, customers that you might have searched for from a data entry perspective, to update a phone number, change an address, rearrange a contact or whatever. You're still going to have that recent customers list as well as part of that dashboard standard. As well as the customer watch list, any account, of course, that you now go into Manitou Neo, and there's a little eye icon that's on each account. If you click on that icon, you can add that particular account to your customer watch list. That might be a customer, again, that you're just keeping a close eye on, and they've been having a lot of activity or whatever the case might be. You can add them to your customer watch list and have it. Now, the new pieces of information here that's part of dashboard standard. Yes, dashboard standard is the compliance information that you need to make sure that you're UL compliant, the UL 827 and the UL 1981 revision 3. You now have the server health information that's giving you the overall health of the servers, and the server health based on the CPU usage, the hard drive, and also the NIC information here as well. You also have system stats and the watchdog message, and also the mu factor. And if you haven't got up to speed with the mu factor, we actually our marketing team released the Bold broadcast, and there's a great article about the mu factor. And the mu factor, mu is standing for the monitoring equivalent weight. Essentially, not to go into detail and to bore you here, but what that is looking at from a UL perspective is that any account that you are monitoring opens and closes, UL is basically looking at that one account as 3 accounts. So based off that particular data, the mu factor, I'm going to show you that dashboard here in a second, but based off the mu factor is going to help you determine, what type of hardware specs or requirements that your system is actually going to need. So now, instead of needing 8 gigabytes or whatever, you might need 16 based off your mu factor, because you're handling a lot of different services now from a UL perspective, and you want to make sure that you're future-proof your system, if you will, from a server and hardware perspective as well, and you'll be able to visually see that with Manitou Neo. And then the last section here that's underneath the dashboard standard, as you can see, you get a lot with the dashboard standard, is the clock, being able to show the analog clock, the digital clock, the weather. You can also, believe it or not, you can display an image URL or an external URL. Some business uses for like the external URL, you might have an intranet site for your company where your employees, access your intranet site for, internal information, memos, any updates, things like that. You can actually have one of your dashboards or widgets, if you will, your intranet site, a link to it where they can quickly get to it and access it just right through Manitou Neo. So a lot of possibilities there, just some suggestions for you. Okay, So let me go ahead and just take a quick breather here and check in and see if there's any questions that might have come up, or we might be a good time for a poll question.
Excellent. One of the only question we have had so far is people who are asking if they're using 164, will they no longer be compliant with UL? That's an excellent question, and the question really is that you need to be, in order to stay compliant, you will need to be on version 2.0 by July 31, 2018. So you really do need to be prepared for that transition and start really getting moving forward. So excellent question, and that actually kind of leads us into our poll questions. So let's go ahead and actually launch a poll, and let's see what people are doing on their Manitou versions. So what version of Manitou are you running? Looks like we've got a lot of people on 164, which is excellent because that gets you just ready to move on to 2.0, which is great. So it looks like we've got about 56% that are on 164 update 19 or higher, which is excellent. We do have a few people who are a few versions back, which is a little need to start thinking about your infrastructure, as well as whether or not you want to look at going with our cloud options. And it looks like we do have a good number of people who are there and on 2.0. That's excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that and hand that back over to Bryant.
Awesome. All right, that's really good news. So about 56% is on 1.6.4, so we appreciate that. I would tell you what, you don't have to be overwhelmed with this process, the upgrade process. Our sales team is here to help and support you and get you the information that you need. In some situations, it might require new hardware or whatnot to be able to be prepared for the Manitou Neo upgrade. Some cases it's not. It's also a good time for you to start considering Manitou Cloud Services as well, where you won't have to worry about purchasing new hardware, new SQL, things like that, where that, we can host that for you in our Manitou Cloud Services package as well. But to get started, just simply send an email to sales@boldgroup.com. Hey, we want to upgrade. We want to, kind of do a check on everything to see where we are and what we need to do, because you definitely don't want to wait to July and then you're trying to upgrade, because everybody's going to be wanting to upgrade at the same time. So to start things off, we're going to actively reach out to you, but in the meantime, if you want to know where you are and where you stand, we would love to have that one-on-one conversation with you and walk you through that process of what you need to do and all of the things that are available for you. So thank you so much, Caryn, for that. So with the dashboard analytics, this is the component, the add-on module that you have the ability to purchase and add on to your Manitou Neo system. So in the dashboard analytics, now just real quickly, the dashboard standard, that information basically is real-time information. You can view it, you can see it. You can actually, what I did not show, I'll show you here in a moment, is that you can export the different graphs or bar charts or different things that you see. You can actually export those out as maybe a PNG image, if you will, maybe add it to a report, send it in the email. You can export that information out, but for the most part, the dashboard standard information is more or less you're just viewing information. The dashboard analytics introduces a critical part of things. It allows you now to query the database. It's looking at the C-log table to actually query the tables as it relates to customers and dealers and information that's in your system. And after you query the database, you can display the information and actually export it into an Excel file, and you can have a report for that. That's the beauty and the power in the dashboard analytics piece. So the first part is the custom piece, where you can have a custom dashboard analytics as it relates to contacts or customers or dealers or the customer system or the transmitter. As it relates to the alarm counts, from a historical standpoint, you can run queries to display based off postcode. How many alarms have I handled in this particular postcode? Or how many alarms have I handled with this particular event code, with this postcode in this region or this city or this state, running those types of queries, and it really gets you thinking from an operational standpoint, or even from a sales perspective. How many, I'm going to show you a heat map here as well. How many accounts do we have in Utah versus Colorado or Wyoming or whatever? Oh, we need to, do some engagement here, some sales activity in this particular area to increase our customer base in these different areas. You'll be able in Manitou to see basically how your accounts are spread out from postcode and alarms and things of that nature, from the customer level and even at the dealer perspective. Who are my busiest dealers, and in what areas are those dealers the most productive, if you will, as well. You'll be able to look at your monitoring groups, be able to run reports and queries based off the resolution code and based off the operator. We've introduced even this phone time section as well. Operators, how long are they handling alarms? When you're looking at the average handling time, which is really looking at how long the alarm was allocated to that particular operator. It's looking at the time of allocation of the alarm to basically the deallocation of the alarm, once it's deferred or suspended or closed out. It's looking at that time frame based off operator or dealer or event category. And then also the average handling time here, you're looking at the operator and the dealer and the event category as well. So we can actually now, with the phone time section versus the average handling time, phone time is looking at when you've actually made a contact. How you select contact in Manitou Neo or the Manitou CS database, and then you select that resolution, whether you contacted them, left a message or whatever. It's measuring that phone time in the system, so you can know exactly how much phone time your operators are actually spending, and then you can make operational decisions based off that, staffing decisions, staffing levels, and things like that. So let's look at some of this and dive in. So you see the difference between the dashboard analytics here versus the dashboard standard. You get a lot of information on both, but the dashboard analytics is really going to help you go to the next level. So let's take a look at the analytics piece here first. So on the analytics piece here, I'm looking at, here at the top, I'm looking at just transmitters type. This is just a simple widget here that's looking at the transmitters that I have in the system. These are the names of them. The legend is listed here of the transmitters that I have, and it's looking at which ones are video capable versus those that are not video capable. That's an option that you can select on each transmitter. If that transmitter has the ability for audio or the ability for video, just a simple chart here that you can now see and be able to run reports and information based off transmitters. Here to the right, we're looking at the average handling time by event category. So based off my database here, it's taken, of course, our holdups are taking a lot longer versus our burglary alarms is taking a lot less. Fires are taking a little bit more, but you can run those reports based off the event category. So let me drill down into one and just kind of show you how it works and kind of play with the data here a little bit. So if I want to go in and say, if I want to do an alarm count just by postcode, so I'll start off with postcode here. And I'm going to say, I want to look at the last 2 years. So it gives you the ability to go back and look at that C-log table and say, let's just look at the last 2 years based off postcode. Before you even display and that widget and commit it basically to your dashboard, you can see the information right here and actually view it right here before you even move any further to see if that's the exact data that I'm looking for. Is this the right information that I'm looking for, or do I want to look at something else? Do I want to add some filters in there and kind of go a little bit deeper from there? Maybe I want to go back and say, well, I want to look at postal code, but I want to add a filter, and I want to say when the region is Colorado. Let me see what that looks like. And I pull that up. I'm like, okay, so it's, I got several different zip codes in here. I got some in Virginia, things of that nature. And of course, you kind of get the flow here of how it's going to look in your database. And I can go back and add maybe another filter here and say, I'm looking at the last 2 years. Let me do this here. So let's look at it by event code here. want to see what events I've been handling in Colorado here. So these are the different event codes. I can look at it that way. It's also filtered by the postcode. You know, it's just it's endless here. I mean, if you like data and you like playing with numbers, there's a lot of information here. Once you have it here, I can go ahead and hit done for an example. It's going to repopulate the information here in the system. So now I have this information, and what I could do, I can take the information that's being presented here, and it now gives me the ability to download it. Can download that information, or I can even export that information as well into that actual report. So just some things that you can do. I can also drill down into the information that's there. I can say, show me those records, and it'll actually give me the accounts that it's referencing based off the details that I've set. So I'm saying the average handling time by event category. So I can even click down and drill down into it here. It'll just give me that information for this one here. So it's 11 different accounts. So it's going to say here to the left, it's, oh, that's for William Palmer. It was an alarm that I handled back in March 2021 or March 24th here. It was Bow Technologies or Pikes Peak Books. So you can actually drill down into the charts and information that's being displayed and get a little bit more detailed information. And then there's that export button here where I can go ahead and export that information into a report and say, okay, great. I have this information based off the average handling time by event category, but now I want that information in the spreadsheet so I can, you know, send it to my C-level leadership so they can view that and make a particular informed business decision. They now have it, and I got that information straight from dashboard analytics. Okay, so let me go in here and let's see, let's take a look at, so if I wanted to see the average handling time of an operator, which has been something that you guys have talked about in the users conference in times past, okay, let's look at an operator's average handling time in the last 2 years. Get rid of this filter here. Okay. So these are the different operators. These are the different queues. So right now, we're mainly logged into the Bold user. So the Bold user is doing most of the work, but then you got some other users here. But you can just look at just based off the last 2 years as an example. You know, who's doing all the heavy lifting? You know, the piano's 500 pounds, but who's helping carry their own weight, if you will? Looking at that information, and once I do create a dashboard on that, I can now run a report, and maybe I want to use this information now as part of my performance reviews or operational reviews or part for an action plan or you know, with the different operators and say, hey, this is the, you know, your efforts of what you're doing from a performance standpoint. So it's not just viewing the user status, which you've done in times past. Now you can actually drill down a little bit more to look at how long it's taken each operator to handle each alarm by the event category, if you will, as well. So just something to think about. I'll actually update this one here just to show you what that one looks like. Let me check in on questions, Caryn. Is there any questions?
Let's see. It says, is operator analytics part of the standard or included, or does that portion have to be purchased separately?
So the drill down, excuse me, is part of the dashboard analytics piece here. So when I was showing you the different sections here, we've made it really organized here where up here at the top underneath this where it just says dashboard, this is dashboard standard, and anything underneath that is what's included in the dashboard standard. You will get the operator response and operator status. Maybe I should show you one of those, but you'll get this information. You'll get the compliance information for your UL piece, and then you'll have the display information, which is basically showing you the different clock widgets and things like that. This is all dashboard standard right here. So if you were to take a screenshot to say what's all included with dashboard standard, it's everything you see here: alarm information, basic operator information, basic customer information, the compliance section, and the display section. That's all dashboard standard. That's what you get when you upgrade to Manitou Neo out the box. The add-on module that we're covering today, this is what you get in addition to the dashboard standard. You get the operator or operational type statistics. You get the ability to query your database, the C-log table, to get historical information, how many alarms are we handling per operator, how many are we handling per postcode, how many are we handling per dealer. Then you can judge the performance of dealers. That's all dashboard analytics. So if you want to dig a little deeper and really get the critical information, run reports off of it to have better reporting, to make those operational decisions and things of that nature, the way to go is going to be the dashboard analytics piece, even though you have a wealth of information just with dashboard standard.
Wonderful. That's about all the questions so far.
Okay, perfect. All right, so moving into the next section here, I was going to show you, hang on. Oh, let me jump into, I'll jump back to the, if we have time, into the operational pieces, but let me show you the heat map just before I forget, because we're running out of time here. So the heat map section here is basically, this is giving me a graphical view of the accounts that I have in a particular geographical area or region, if you will. So if I click on this here, it's saying, hey, you got 11 accounts in Colorado. Hey, in Virginia, you have 9 accounts. So picture your database, picture your Manitou database right here on this heat map where you have a graphical view to know how many customers you have, you know, in each state, in each region. You can also sort by city. I'll show you what that looks like here as well, but this is giving you some pretty detailed information here. So if I go ahead and say, hit my little gear icon here. So I want to know my top 5 customers. I want to add a filter here, and I want to say Colorado, because that's the majority of our database is going to be Colorado. I can do that as well. So to show me how many accounts I have in Colorado, those 9. And if I display this particular graph, I can see what 9 accounts those actually are. And then I can export that information and put it into an actual report. Now, the heat map piece is a really powerful tool. Again, like I said, from a sales perspective, if I wanted to move into the Atlanta area, or if I wanted to move into the Little Rock area or Oklahoma City or wherever on the U.S. map or whatever that I'm trying to increase my operations and my national reach, I can use Manitou to really help with that information to determine, hey, I only have 11 accounts in Colorado. I need to do a whole lot more work, if you will, with moving forth my operations. Of course, I can show different views here. I can show those records. At the very bottom, there's a legend. Basically, that's giving you, the darker the color, if you will, is going to be the more accounts that you have in a particular region on the heat map. So the Colorado it's more accounts in Colorado than it is in Virginia. So from a legend standpoint, it's towards the right or the bottom here. So it's saying like that dark purple color. That's the legend that it's reading off of, and you can really drill down into this a whole lot more to get the information that you're actually looking for. And when you are doing these different widgets, if you will, you can change the title. You can customize the titles. I mean, we have some pretty standard information here at the top just so you can see the information. But when you're running the different queries, you can name them and have them there. Also, another question that came up in times past when we were looking at the dashboard analytics, just standard dashboard, is that whenever you do save one of these dashboards to your login, it actually saves with you. So every time you log in, you're going to have whatever you've already saved up here. So you don't have to worry about, importing the information again. Whatever information that you've saved here is going to be part of your login every time you log into Manitou Neo. So let me look at the mu factor, because I mentioned this briefly here, but let me go into this here again. The mu factor is looking at residential, commercial, inactive. The commercial inactive is basically, it's a commercial account, but you're not monitoring any open and close schedules. So that's what that's looking at. Now, the commercial open and close is saying it's a commercial account in the system, but we are actually monitoring an open and close area or partition. Same with residential as well. If I have a residential account, but I'm monitoring the open and close, from a UL perspective, that's going to be, looked at not just one account, but actually times 3. So your mu factor here is automatically calculated for you here. The dashboard analytics is providing you that information that you can have your mu factors. So again, you can make the right hardware. When you're going to purchase new hardware, you can make the right decision on what you need to purchase based off the mu factor and things like that. That your database is going to be more robust enough to be able to handle the mu factor of the different services that you're providing for your customer base. And this is just a different view of the mu factor here as well, where you're looking at residential versus commercial versus inactive accounts, because it's looking at that as well, the commercial inactive. Let me see here. There's another one I was going to show you here. This is just another view here. It's just a custom view. It's just looking at this particular server, just another way to display the average CPU usage. Of course, you can show it in a graphical view, or you can just show it in this list type view here as well. So it's really whatever flavor, whatever color you're looking for, that's available for you in dashboard analytics to really drill down into that information. Now, this is the one I really wanted to show you, the customer information here. So again, you have this customer information chart. What do I have, residential versus commercial? You just kind of showing the donut here. You can do it that way. Or this particular one is actually showing you the accounts that I have based off the dealer. So you can download that information. You can download it as a PNG or a JPEG and drill down into the information a little bit more. Let's do another query here. So I want to look at something by dealer, and then we'll stop and see if we have any more questions. So I want to see what dealers I have in the system here. Let me remove this out. Okay. Go back here. So I'll add a filter here, and I'll say, and I've just been doing region thus far, but you can actually these different fields here. You can do it by region, you can do it by city, you can do it by zip code, monitoring group. Sorry, just limited on time. I mean, it's been a lot of development work that has happened here. Just really, really excited about what we're offering here. But you can really drill down into this. You can look at an accounting company for those of you that are integrated with one of our like Sedona Office or QuickBooks or things like that. You can drill down into it and get some more detailed information to display to the screen for you, and also run reports on it here as well. You can do it by country if you're doing this internationally as well. So just a lot of different factors here and different filters that you can add as you're actually querying the database here, and really drill down. And you can just kind of start with why, and what you're looking for. What do I want to know about my dealers, and what do I want to know about my customers? And we've tried to kind of build that floor plan here for you to be able to do that and provide that information so you can make those informed decisions. I think it's about time for a poll question here.
Here's just a quick little quiz question, since we've already thrown it out there. When do you need to have your software compliant for UL? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll and share the results. It is July 2018 that you need to have your software UL compliant. Now, for those of you who are going to have the 100,000 mu factor, you have to have your secondary location by January of 2020. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that poll question. And back to you, Bryant. Actually, I have a couple more questions that came up. So first question was about the heat maps. Will it work in Canada? Yes, we are looking to have it working in Canada. And then will it work in Europe? Everything other than the heat maps should be working in Europe just fine. It's just a matter of being able to get the shapes for all the countries in Europe. So we're still working on the heat maps for Europe. And let's see. mentioning about the export capabilities for the data. Right now it is an Excel export. So those are the questions so far.
Awesome. Okay, great. One of the other things I had mentioned, and I just wanted to make sure that I showed you, is just part of the dashboard standard piece for those that are just not really seeing this for the first time. This view here is the alarm queue data here, and the alarm queue data, this is part of the standard dashboard where you can actually have your alarms filtered by category. You can have them filtered by the event code. So if you've been around Manitou Neo at all or seen any of the demos, you've seen this before. If this is new to you, this is information that's part of that standard Manitou Neo upgrade that you'll now have the ability to do. And you can actually have your alarm queue filtered by postal code, by the dealer, and again, you can change it whether you want a bar chart, a pie chart. It's really your choice at that point. But that's part of that dashboard standard that I wanted to make sure that was mentioned as well. The other pieces that I mentioned as part of that dashboard standard, just to show you as well, is the operator section here. And then the operator section is just basically giving some more just standard operational information, the total customers that are currently in the alarm. You can drill down into this information here as well. Who are those 4 customers that are currently in the alarm? And then if I wanted to quickly go to those individual customers, you can do that as well. So this is going to be a review for some and might be new to others, but I just wanted to make sure that was mentioned as well, because there's a lot of functionality in all that we're doing, and it's just a lot of work has just happened behind the scenes, and we just can't cover it all, but there's a lot. And this is just, again, the alarm queue here, and then the recent customer list, as well as the watchdog messages here, just kind of displaying that in a different view versus just having it here scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I can add the watchdog messages as a widget part of my dashboard as well. So,
hey, Bryant, real quick. We haven't pointed out that really cool weather map that's been showing on some of them. That's actually part of that default dashboard availability.
So this is integrated with windy.com. If you can really, let me get down into this here. Look the data on the weather. So the data selection is the weather, and I can go into this here and say, let me see, what would be a good one, Caryn?
No, it was the weather map that I wanted to really kind of show, because it is kind of cool that under display, it's just the weather. And that windy.com is so cool because you can really zoom in and out and really see, and you can actually change what is showing. You can show the wind, you can show the temp, you can show the weather, all of that stuff.
And this is one that we were actually looking at a couple of weeks back, I guess now, when the hurricane was, getting ready to hit the coast of Florida. We were able to kind of drill down into this here from a demo perspective and kind of see the winds. You can actually drill down into it, and it'll tell you, right there, the speed of the wind as well, like 29 miles per hour, right there in the Dominican Republic right there. So this is really nice integration in here that's part of the dashboard analytics that you can have in your operations. Of course, that's going to be important to you to know, if there's strong wind speeds where you're going to get those low batteries and those AC power fails and things like that. You can have this graphical view of that right here. So really nice integration, and you can interact with it here. As you can see, I can, zoom in and zoom out, and just kind of go all over the world here and look at what's happening, with this integration, and look at those wind speeds. And I can focus in on my own area. I can focus in on Colorado if I wanted to, and kind of go from there. Anything else, Caryn, or Rod? I think Rod is actually on too, that we want to make sure that we mention and show you today. Of course, there's more to come. This is a start to that, and wanted to introduce you to this today and give you time to ask your questions and thus answer those questions for you today. But is there anything else that you guys can think of as well that we want to show today?
I think one thing that we could mention, Bryant, is this is an environment that we've created, and it's going to be a work in progress. So later this year, we've got the replacement to PBX Assistant coming out. It's called our call center manager, and that's integrated with the phone system, the Aonix phone system. We'll have all kinds of statistics coming from that will come to the dashboard. As we produce new products, we've got an environment where we will send information to the dashboard, and we're going to do further integrations with the financial side in particular, so that you can get real kind of dollars and cents against some of these things. You know, what dealer is making me the most money, what dealer's costing me the most money. Those are some of the things that we want to get to fairly quickly. So yeah, this is going to be something that's going to be continually updated, and as we bring out new products, you'll have new integrations and new information to be able to show on this dashboard. Just one thing I wanted to mention, Brian.
It's awesome. Caryn, did you have something you wanted to add as well?
No, there was a question here about can you have weather warnings popped for certain areas where you have accounts? I don't have a specific response for that, but I'm sure as we build integrations with analytics providers, I believe it is possible. I don't have a specific answer for that at this point.
So as we see, really just kind of summarizing what we've covered today, you know, both technologies is hard at work to provide you information that's going to help you make informed decisions. We are working on a dashboard analytics data sheet for you as well, so you can have that information and really know the things that I covered today. I mean, I was kind of just giving you an overview, but we will have a data sheet for you that will give you the different components of what we've tried to show you today with the dashboard analytics, looking at the historical alarm reports, looking at the phone transaction time, looking at the alarm handling time, and the custom queries and the heat maps and all of that information. We'll put that in that nice, pretty data sheet for you, so you can have that information and so you can make an informed decision. But I'm sure what you're seeing here, you're definitely going to want to add the dashboard analytics as part of your Manitou Neo. And again, I wanted to mention one last time just that those sites that are on 164 or lower, now is the time really to start making those plans and getting the budgets and all of that ready to go, so you can upgrade to Manitou Neo seamlessly. We want to help you with that. Send an email to sales@boldgroup.com. We'll get to you right away and start working with you down that process, and at least so you can see what your options are. And look at the cloud, look at all the different costs and different things that you want to consider as you're upgrading. So get that going now. So we won't have to wait until July. And the one last thing I wanted to mention is that, again, don't forget about the 2018 Manitou Neo Bootcamp. That's January 17th and 18th here at the Bold Training Center. Register for that. It's limited seating. So again, the first one, it just sold out like really, really fast. And so I'm assuming that this will as well. So definitely be a part of that, where you can get hands-on with Manitou Neo. And then we'll also, we'll be able to show you dashboard analytics. And I'm sure by the time in January, it's going to be a lot further along than what it already is now. And it's beautiful right now. So that's all I had planned and prepared for you on today. But thank you so much for your time today. Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Caryn, for joining this session, and everybody else that took time out of your busy schedule. Hope this was informative and gave you the information you're looking for. Thank you.